Once upon a time in a faraway land, there lived a little girl named Allara, who was known throughout the kingdom for her beautiful singing voice. In fact, all the woodland creatures would gather around just to listen to her sing. But Alara's greatest dream was to perform in the king's ball, an annual event where all the kingdom's finest singers came together to show off their talents. Now, every year, the king hosted this ball in the grand castle, but this year he decided to do something different. The ball was going to be held in the Whispering Woods, and instead of having singers from around the kingdom, he invited every creature, great and small, from the fluffiest bunny rabbit to the slimiest slug. Everyone was allowed to enter the king's ball. Allara was so excited when she heard about the ball, because she had always wanted to perform in front of a big audience. But as the day of the ball approached, she began to get a little nervous. You see, Allara had never performed in front of an audience that wasn't made up of woodland creatures. She didn't know what to expect. On the day of the ball, Allara put on her most beautiful dress, the one with all the sparkles, and headed into the woods with her best friend, Finley the squirrel. "I can't believe we're actually doing this," she said, her voice trembling a little bit. "Don't be nervous, Allara," said Finley, trying to sound brave, even though he was also a little scared. "You're an amazing singer, and I'm sure everyone will love your performance." As they walked deeper into the woods, they began to hear all sorts of strange noises, from the squeaking of crickets to the buzzing of bees. And then they saw them, all the woodland creatures dressed up in their finest clothes, some in top hats and tails, others in tutus and ball gowns. There were rabbits in red leather shoes, squirrels in striped socks, and even a family of hedgehogs wearing matching velvet jackets. "Wow, everyone really went all out," Allara said, feeling a little self-conscious about her simple, sparkly dress. Just then, a bluebird landed on her shoulder and said, "Welcome to the king's ball, young singer. I've heard wonderful things about you, and I can't wait to hear you perform." Allara smiled and thanked the bluebird, then took a deep breath and stepped onto the makeshift stage made of a giant mushroom and a flat rock. As she began to sing, a hush fell over the crowd. All eyes were on her. Allara closed her eyes and let the music carry her away. She sang about the joys of friendship and the beauty of the natural world. And as she sang, the animals swayed to the music, tapping their feet and clapping their hands. But then, something unexpected happened. A grumpy badger who had been sitting under a nearby tree began to growl, and everyone stopped. "What is this racket? Can't a badger get some peace and quiet around here?" he snapped. Allara was so surprised by the badger's outburst that she stopped singing. She had never seen a badger before, let alone one that was so rude. The other animals began to murmur, and soon the whole forest was buzzing with activity. Some of the braver animals stood up to the badger, but he just growled louder and chased them away. Alara's friend, Finley, was furious. "How dare that badger ruin your performance, Allara," he said, his voice shaking with anger. "I'll show him." And with that, he darted off into the trees. Allara watched as Finley confronted the badger. At first, the badger growled, but then something amazing happened. Finley began to sing. His voice was small but strong, and the badger slowly stopped growling and began to tap his foot. Soon the other animals joined in, and before long, the entire forest was singing and dancing. And Allara knew exactly what she had to do. She took a deep breath and joined in the song, her beautiful voice ringing out through the trees. In the end, the badger even apologized for his rude behavior, and everyone, including him, danced the night away. And that's the lesson, kids. Sometimes when we're scared or nervous, it can be hard to be kind. But if we try our best, even the grumpiest of badgers can become our friends.